given Montenegro, an enchanting Balkan country, is committed to ensuring that women and girls have equal rights and opportunities in all spheres of life and live free of violence. But what is the impact of complex economic, social, and political environment on women empowerment as well as in eliminating gender stereotypes? To know all these things, we have invited a wonderful, wonderful guest who is joining from Montenegro, and her name is Aleksandra Gligorovic. She's associated with EU Taxo 3 country coordinator for Montenegro, Agency for Nature and Environment Protection for the country, as well as she's consultant for development of gender equality, local action plan at a municipality. Aleksandra, we welcome you on our channel and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I was really flattered to be invited, and I'm happy that I have an opportunity to share my thoughts and also some information about Montenegro and our developments in gender issues. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
It is indeed our pleasure, Aleksandra. So let us start our conversation by knowing a little bit about your interest. You know, what draws you towards social activism, as you wear so many hats related to gender equality, women empowerment. You know, there's so many things I can see in your profile you have mentioned, which I could not cover actually in your introduction. So in a nutshell, I want to understand, what did you interest most in social activism and doing something for the society? Was there something in your life that made you like this, or it was just you had this thinking from very beginning in your life that you want to do something for the society?
Well, I don't know, if you think about what really creates all of us and our beliefs and our actions, it's very complex. I think that I was lucky to be raised in the family where we cherish some of these values, and I have a sister and two brothers.
Okay.
And we were all, I wouldn't say, but we were actually in a way raised like feminists and activists. And we come from the family where it's expected that you really try to contribute. And it's not that it's forced, it's just really, we think that we should somehow, I don't know. And when I started with my studies, I enrolled in one, I started working in one NGO. It was Center for Girls. Xenia was the name, and it was back in 90s. So I had it was like 9 of us, very committed girls, and we worked a lot with young women, but also with young boys, talking and organizing different workshops, events for them, discussing. Not only gender-based violence, but also activism, being socially responsible, non-violent communication, and similar topics. So it was something really that we were very committed, and we had an opportunity. Also, the environment in Montenegro and in the region was, and at that moment, very vibrant, but also we had the support for our learning and developing more. Then later I moved to Association for Democratic Prosperity, ZID, and it's another organization where I spent almost 10 years. I was coordinating national voluntary service. Wow. And working with volunteers, national volunteers, but also international through the European Voluntary Service, through some other international volunteering programs. So I think that all these that I'm mentioning are just, you know, all of these activities are giving you something and making you as you are, and they made me as I am. And I have to say that also I was happy to have very inspiring women around me, starting from my mother. She's very active and leading one women organization as well in Montenegro, but also my sister Lydia and my best friend Vanya and some other friends. So it's really important when you have this environment that supports you, and especially when you have women around you as role models. And I think that all this inspired me. But also, it's funny to say, but also some of my friends around and some people that are not connected at all, maybe at the first sight with this topic, you also always, and I also always took some of their energy as well. So after more than 20 years being in the civil society and also working as a consultant now, I still have a wish, and I still have this optimism that we can really contribute to the change and that we can change many things. And actually, I saw with my own eyes that we did change so many things related to the legal framework, related to different practices. I can later maybe give some even examples. So. But why socially active? And I don't know. It's just I think that everyone should be like this. Actually, I'm wondering why some people are not. For me, this is more mysterious question. Why they don't feel really that they have to take part more in the community life? And because we are all aware that the society is unequal, and it really depends where you are born. If you are born as a man or a woman, or I mean, it really
Geography,
or in
gender, so many things are there. Yeah.
Yes. It's really not easy. So I don't know. I try to find my path through it. And to be more confusing, I also I'm a biologist. I finished biology, and I'm doing my research in the Coleoptera. It's like a bugs, and this is something totally different, I would say. But I don't know. I read recently some article about having double careers, so it could be something similar. But actually, biology is really my pure love, and being activist is something that I think I have to be. I think that everyone should be. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. It's really interesting background that you shared with us. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, Aleksandra, you are a consultant for training program for women empowerment for leadership also. So can you let us know more about it, what you have been doing in that?
Well, it's a part of the UN UNDP program, and it's a regional project, Dialogue for the Future. And I'm engaged as a consultant. So together with my colleague Aisha Hadžibegović, I was working on development of methodology, and of course being supervised, and also of course in cooperation with Jelena Miljanić, also she's actually working in the UN. So what we did, we developed a methodology, and we organized different trainings, like 3 modules for different groups. And the main goal of this project is really regional cooperation and contributing to the peace building and increasing this social cohesion in our countries. Right. And this project covers also Bosnia and Serbia, and we organized different trainings for the women. We had different groups. First, we had women that are very active from the institutions, from NGO sector, from some students, and we developed the program in 3 modules. So first we had the basics of gender equality and gender mainstreaming, and then we went step by step into creating of the social cohesion, the main elements, and trying to understand that peace is not just the absence of the war. You know, we are working towards positive peace and development in all the sectors, economy, you know, transparency of the institutions and everything. So it's very interesting project because it gives the opportunity to women to apply later for the grants for the project, regional project. So now we have different projects being implemented in the region, cross-border projects with these topics. So it was some kind of leading this group through the steps, teaching, or actually training them in the topics, and then later UN gave them the money to implement some projects. And I think that in the next 1 year they will implement different projects with these topics. So I have to say that it was an interesting experience because some of the women, they were really gender aware and inspired from the beginning. Some of them, they were totally I have to say, even against this, not against purely, but you know, they don't feel it. They don't. If you tell them some of the things, then they have this reaction. No. You know, there are some, you know, jobs for women and jobs for men, and this kind of stuff. So it was challenging with some individuals, but I think that it brought a bigger outcome, because it's not a point to train those that are already aware and everything. It's really good to invest also in those that need this information and need this environment to grow and to develop their own. They will not change their minds immediately, but going with us through 3 modules, then you see them at the end and they become more like, maybe it makes sense, to do it. So I think that all of us, especially Aisha and Yelena and me, we were very, very happy at the end of every module. And of course, so far we did it. We do 2 groups, and now for the September we have a 3rd group of 30-something young. This 3rd group is really consisted of young women. So I think that we will have a lot of potential there, really.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you are also working on one more project, which is related to evaluation of strategy for combating domestic violence. Can you offer us more insight into this project? What is this evaluation of strategy?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm engaged also as a consultant to support Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, because this ministry in Montenegro is like the main in charge for this area. The ministry had developed previously the strategy for combating domestic violence, and it goes in line with our law, because we have a law against, of course, for the prevention of the domestic violence, and criminal code and other legal framework that really it's important. And this strategy was developed in line with this framework, and it ended this year. Actually, it was 2016-2020. So at the end of this cycle, there is always this attempt from the ministry and also international organizations that support our ministry to evaluate what was done, to see if there are some shortcomings somewhere, what should be improved in the new strategy, or how to proceed. For this strategy, actually, since we started in the middle of this Corona, COVID-19 pandemic, and also summer, we have to, first of all, I have to do some desk research and also to consult all the stakeholders involved to see what kind of activities they implemented, how much they are satisfied, and we will see later what they propose. Our intention with the ministry is that Jovana, that works in the ministry, she's my contact person. Me and Jovana, we had several meetings, and the main idea is to after this to work on development of the action plan specifically for the implementation of the Istanbul Convention. It's a Council of Europe Convention for prevention of the violence against women, because Montenegro ratified this convention many years ago. I mean, you have a situation that in the Europe, even members of European Union, for example, they didn't ratify it because it's very demanding, or they have some other priorities, I don't know. But in Montenegro, we are working on this issue. It goes not so fast as I would like to, but there is a progress. And in the Istanbul Convention, there is a very strict request for the governments to provide services to victims of violence. And under those services, you have specialized services provided by women organizations, civil society organizations that are very specialized. And also you have services from the government that are like a Center for Social Work or health services or something. So at this moment, we are working, at least a couple of years ago, actually, we are working in really, first of all, aligning our national legal framework with this Istanbul Convention, and also trying to promote positive practice, because in some areas the legal framework is good, but the practice is not so good. I mean, we have fantastic measures. For example, if there is a violence in the family, and women call the police officers that come to the house. If he see that the situation is very violent and dangerous, he had the power to ask for the specific measure of removing the violator, the perpetrator, men usually, from the house, from the flat, for 30 days, for example, which is for me very good, and it's much better than putting women and 3 children in the safe house,
Yes.
So there are some measures that are really, I think, that can bring better results, but if they are implemented by majority of those representatives of the police officers or some others. So I'm just mentioning this because there are also some other very good how to say, very good measures in our legal system that are maybe not imposed. I mean, they are not implemented in practice so much.
Right.
And the idea is really that we create, after evaluation of this strategy, that we create action plans specifically for this Istanbul Convention, so we know who is in charge for what, and we try to push it a little bit. And when I say we, I mean ministry, of course, and me as a consultant,
Right.
and also UNDP Gender Office. They are the ones who are supporting our ministry in this area.
Yeah.
Maybe for this topic, it's interesting to know that we also have Ministry for Human Rights and Human and Minority Rights, and this ministry is dealing with the gender equality. And under gender equality, they also cover violence as well. So in their national strategy, it is totally different strategy. They also have one part that is connected to this. So it's very important to I don't know, to improve the cooperation with all these stakeholders. And I hope that we will contribute with these policy documents to this. You never know, I mean, how much it will live after you adopt some document, how much really it will be put in practice. But there is always a potential, of course. With a little bit of the pressure, it can work.
Right. So, Aleksandra, I was a little bit curious to know about when you were discussing about a pandemic and, you know, domestic violence and working on strategic framework, all legislative processes which are helping women and children saving from domestic violence. So do you feel that the current strategies which have been framed, especially keeping in mind this pandemic, when people are locked, when, you know, families are locked and you cannot access them physically, and in that case, if someone calls you, how do you think you can help them? Because lockdown and this situation, when you are not reachable easily, how do you feel that these strategies are you know, relevant in such scenario?
Well, I have to say that our institutions, of course, as a system, they are slow in reaction, cannot react so fast. And also with this situation, at the same beginning, when we realized what is happening, that if the women or children, they have to be put in a safe house, that in a shelter, that in the shelter they're not prepared because they don't have a separate. Maybe they can be infected with the COVID-19, so you cannot put them there, or you cannot, I mean, among others, or you also should not isolate them totally, because it's something against, again, of course, the human rights, so you cannot totally. So it was at the beginning of the situation, we faced with huge issues, challenges to say, and also we had situations where one of the women activists, she needed to go with the victim of violence to the police to report and everything. And then since it was after 7 o'clock in the evening, and when it becomes this you know, ban of mobility in the city, then she had an issues and problems. But what happened, we were lucky to have this very aware and open individuals in these institutions. So our Ministry of Internal Affairs and also Police Directorate, they started with the campaign for the women to be safe at home. And they try to promote the special phones like SOS lines for the victims of violence. And the Minister of Internal Affairs, he was talking about this issue, and he said, we know that the violence is increasing under this situation of the COVID, and please be aware that the police is here for you, that you can call, and please do it and everything. So he was publicly in all the media saying this, and I think it was a good message from the institutional side. And they also got support from the British Embassy in this process, and the visuals were developed, and all over the social media you could see these be safe with some kind of purple color, and then logos of the women organizations that can provide support to you if you need it, and also the special number to call. So it was, for example, one of the how to say, ad hoc strategies what to do in that situation. but it was really supported from the women organizations and also from the British Embassy. I think that gave them support in this. On the other side, we also had an initiative with also women organizations and also UN system. They develop application, like a mobile application for the phone that you can download, and also you can click you can click special places to ask for support. If you cannot call because someone will hear you, you can also use the chat and ask for the different advice or support. And it was there is a possibility to choose SOS, like national SOS line for the victims of violence, but also you can choose different women organizations that are providing specific services and contact them directly. So those two examples I mentioned because those were like ad hoc strategies, and we had the support really from these international organizations and the full understanding from the ministry and the police directorate. And although for the people, usually when they criticize the police officers because they are the first one to get in touch with, but actually their work, it's really, I have to say, progressive, and they are working a lot on this topic and showing the top management in these institutions is showing huge interest and commitment to improve the situation. So, I mean, the strategies as such, all those strategies that are developed, they could not be really implemented in that period so well. So we needed these ad hoc initiatives. And this is really the moment where we saw the strength of the civil society and of the women organizations, because they are more flexible, so they can adapt. So some organizations like SOS Line from Podgorica and many others, Women Rights Center, they had a line like 24 hours, this number that you can call. So these were the measures that we could kind of implement in this situation. It's not easy, and it was not definitely easy. And according to all the statistics from the institutions, the number increased. But at least we had this response from the institutions and the high officials saying, we know what is happening, and women, you should know that you are supported. Call, you can call us. If you don't want us, you can ask for women feminist help and support from the organization. So it was channeled in the way. So I think that that was the best we could do in that situation, and also having in mind the resources that we have, because we are a very small country. We have like a bit like 600,000 people. I mean, not even a million. So I mean, some of the things are good when you are small. Some of the things are not so good.
Aleksandra, I was curious to understand if there are any key issues that you feel that the country has not addressed as much as it was needed to address, or to show concern towards any issue that impacts gender equality. Are there any issues in your mind, or you have observed them, but you feel that attention is not that much toward these issues than other issues? Are there any issues, some underlying issues you feel?
Well, in theory, they all the institutions and the whole system is actually kind of have this, like, they call it political will to deal with this issue, and they try to contribute. But I think that we don't do enough comparing to what we could, because there is a law on gender equality, and in this law you have very specifically explain what is gender, what is sex, what is discrimination, what is gender-based discrimination, that you have to use gender-sensitive language. And people don't do it. I mean, although it's written in the law, institutions, they don't impose the law. I mean, according to the law, I should write, like, I don't know, not the director, but kind of like directrice, something like that, to show the gender of the person, but people don't do it. And I think that there is no will to change this, and still they argue, because we organize many meetings and trainings, and people that should impose the law, they say, but I do not agree with this. I mean, I don't think that gender equality is something, or unfortunately, we even have women that are talking against this in practice. and they say, no, I was never discriminated because I'm a woman and this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, what to say, honey, you are not the world. I mean, maybe you are not, or I'm not, but there are other women that are discriminated, but, or maybe you don't want to admit to yourself, I mean, but I think that we have to really try to push more for implementation of this specific law. And I have to say that in media, there is a huge difference since the law is adopted, because they use gender sensitive language, and in the printed media and also in electronic media. So, sorry, if they can use it, I also expect from the representatives of the institutions, of academia, of the government, that they also can use it. I mean, if the media can learn it, you know, very fast, everyone can do it. So I think we should force more. And also, I think that the penalties are not high enough for the sexual harassment, for the rape, these kind of things, especially when the children are involved. I think it's very sensitive topic, and we don't have a safe net developed enough in our system, because if there is a situation of incest or something, this is very small community, and if you put this personal trial, and then you put light on this little child, and you know, you have to be very careful to measure how much the person will get out of it or will not get out of it, because of the stigma, because of stress. I just think that in this area of really penalties, that we have to increase them. We have somehow to send a message that is absolutely not acceptable behavior. Yes. This is something that bothered me a lot, because you know, I mean, even when you are adult, when you are discriminated, or when you face with some harassment, how you feel vulnerable, and you don't know who to ask, where to go for help. And I can just imagine for someone who is like 10 years old or 5 years old, what this person young life can do or say. So I think that we owe them this better environment for their life and better safe net. And I think that we have to improve much more in this area. Those two. Yeah.
And what message do you have for women who believe that suffering in silence is better than raising their voices, and that's sort of their fate? Sufferings is sort of their fate. What message do you have for such women?
My main message is that women need to support women. But also we need to understand diversity among us as a women, because we are not all in the same situation. And if I choose to be vocal, to be loud, to be activist, and to say what is wrong, if I don't afraid, if I feel happy to talk about these topics in public, this is my path, and this is who I am, but it doesn't mean that you have to do the same. Some of the women, they have other ways how they fight for the same issues. Some of them, they are silent. They are maybe more introverts. They don't want to go into public. They maybe don't want to go to protest and to wear, you know, this. So I think that we, as a women, we have to understand diversity among us and try to be more tolerant, because the society, what it teach us is that we are, you know, competition. I don't know for what, for the male or whatever. I mean, for me, it's really ridiculous, the approach. But this is what we are taught, that we are competition, and we are judging women more than men. This is what I noticed, that we are more rough on them than on men. I think that really solidarity, this term that we are using so much, but we don't practice it really enough. So I think that we should just try to understand everyone's position and allow in our women movement for everyone to have a space. If I want to be a mother, if I don't want to work, it's my right as a woman, and you should not judge me just because of this. You should not say to me that I'm less feminist than you, because this is my choice. I want to have someone to support me, and I will spend time with my children, and this is how I think my life should look like, and this is my right to choose.
Right.
But what we do, usually we judge them, oh, you know, just a housewife. And then on the other side, we judge women politician, yeah, but she's politician without a family. We always have some kind of, you know, hats to put on the others, just because it's not our choice.
Yes.
So I really think that we should be more open, and we should we should love each other more. This is how I feel, and really sometimes it's very hard to support the other woman just because she's a woman. But I'm trying to be very open and try to understand all the environment, how she was raised, and everything. Of course, sometimes you have to confront in some situations, but I try not to do it in front of men, because I think I think it's not good. I think it's important to show this solidarity and to choose to also allow this diversity in our fight and in our struggle sometimes with every day, because you never know how someone's life looks like actually. You know what you see from me now, so this is maybe I'm very happy today, but this also can be the smiling depression, you know. So I think that it's very important that we pay attention and that we support each other. Maybe it's a long, confusing message, but this is what I would recommend to everyone. Really, to try to see the best in the other woman and to understand her position, and not to jump into conclusions and judgment.
I think it's been lovely talking to you, Aleksandra. And thank you so much for holding such an interesting and insightful conversation with us on our platform. We wish you all the best for your all future endeavors and projects. Thank you so much for being with us and for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm very open for any future collaboration, whatever, if you are interested. And looking forward to see you maybe live. This online is cool, but really I'm looking forward to see you soon somewhere, and yeah, maybe even in Montenegro if you decide to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and bye.